Okay, a bit later than Bill, but here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Online in association with Round for Round Boxing, the new boxing game coming out on Xbox.
Okay, a bit later than Bill, but here we go. Good.
Well, at least it sounds good from that. And now what I would like you to do, in association with Round for Round Boxing, the new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. Check it out, www.roundforroundboxing.com. Of course, check it out on BWTM Sports, all the latest news there on the channel. Okay, what I need to do, we're going to play a very quick game here. I want you all to let me know if you can hear Uncle Bashir when he comes on the line in a moment. Unfortunately, we're still having problems with the Google Hangout with him, so we're trying to do this via Facebook chat and then through this microphone that I have. So we're hoping we can get a nice, clear conversation with Uncle Bashir. Okay, so let's bring Uncle into the room. Hold on a second. Let's just change this over. Let's see here. Bang, there we go. And this is the photograph I took with Uncle Bashir only a few days ago when we were in Germany as he was training with Vlad Serenko in the Bulldog Gym in Karlsruhe. I think I've got the name right, in Germany. Okay, without further ado, we'll bring Uncle Bashir into the room. Uncle Bashir, how are we doing?
We're doing fine.
Fantastic. Can everybody hear Uncle Bashir? I hope you can. Okay, so Uncle, how things been going?
It's going pretty good, man. Everything's going fine. On schedule.
Okay, let me turn this around and see if I can get the microphone this way up so people can hear clearly. Ruben, can you hear Uncle Bashir for me? Let me know. Just let me know it's Uncle Bashir you can hear. Great. So there's lots to talk about. Before we talk about all the events that have been happening with all the things happening in the world of boxing, let's rewind the clock a little bit back to when we met you in Germany. Can you talk us through that experience very briefly as to what happened when we came and met you in Germany?
Well, we did the regular training regime. That's the regular training camp approach to doing things, day in and day out. We're down to the last several days, I believe it is, and we did things accordingly. Eat, sleep, drink, boxing.
People were commenting two things they commented on. They commented on the work you were doing with Serenko. They were learning so much about the shadow boxing, and they said they were talking about one in particular. Eugene was talking about how you were following Serenko around the ring with the pads. And I said, well, that would be good because it's more realistic as to who would face in the ring as opposed to just standing there hitting pads. What are your thoughts on all this, Uncle?
Well, it wasn't that I was following him around the ring. I was trying to present a pressure situation. I was trying to cut the ring, and I was trying to make him frustrated, angry, emotional. These are the things that you have to work on with a young fighter. You have to test their emotional state, their balance, their mentality. When a fighter gets fatigue, mental fatigue, physical fatigue, then they're subject to make random mistakes. And this is something that you have to work on while you're in the ring with mitts or just doing the technique of shadow boxing.
Okay. And how do you feel Vlad is coming to his next fight, which is next weekend?
I think that Vlad is in a good place, physically and spiritually and mentally. Those things working together are always important. You can't have one without having the other and expect for the ship to sail smoothly. When you got the three of them working in conjunction with one another, spiritual, mental, and physical, then you're in a good place. That gives him his best chance of winning. And I never take any opponent lightly. I never do that. I never underestimate it. I never read the newspaper clips on how bad he is or how he looked last fight. I don't listen to that kind of stuff. I'm always wary of the person that we're facing because they're showing up. I mean, this young man is Argentina. You know, some people say, oh, well, he's just coming to pick up a payday or whatever. I don't listen to that. I'm preparing for the best guy, the best opponent. That's the one that I'm preparing for.
So when people would say, oh, well, look at his record. We spoke about this before, his record. Well, the guy he fought before is better than the guy he's fighting this time round. What is your response to critics that would say that?
Well, I had Maurice Harris many years ago. I think Harris at the time had an 8-5 or 8-6 record, and I took him against an undefeated David Eisenreich. You know, Eisenreich. Well, David Eisen for sure. And I guess they looked at the record too and came in and, you know, I said, oh, we'll take this guy. He looks soft, but Harris beat him unanimously. We fought another guy, Sergei Lagovic. You know, we fought him, and Harris had a record of 10-7, and he too was undefeated when he fought Harris, and he got knocked out. So you can never look at a record because the records are not the ones that's entering the ring. When the bell rings, there's a human being on the other end that got gloves on. That's what he wants to win. So that's who I prepare for. I prepare for the unexpected.
You mentioned in your interview with us on the feature, you saw on the feature Bashir and Serenko making sweet science. At the end of it, you mentioned that this is the guy that's going to take you over the top. So people nowadays or newish boxing fans will know you for the guy that was behind Usyk, the guy that was with Klitschko. So now they're seeing you with Serenko, and you're saying that Serenko's the guy that's going to take you over the top, over the edge. What do you mean by that?
Pardon me?
What do you mean by that? Serenko's going to take you over. He's going to take you over the edge. He's the guy.
My biggest impact on the sport is yet to be made. You know, I think that Serenko is the one that is capable of doing it. I feel like he's as close as I've been to mainstream because it's so difficult. It's so difficult, you know. And I say it's very difficult, especially on black trainers. It's very difficult to make headway. People are quick to say, "Oh, Emanuel Steward or Eddie Futch, Virgil Hunter." I mean, yes, those guys made it, but for every one of those guys that made it, how many of them that didn't make it? That's the point that I'm making. It's very difficult for black trainers, and partially because black fighters give black trainers a hard time, or all fighters give black trainers a hard time. You know, they'll do certain things with some trainers that they won't do with other trainers. You know, and that's my complaint.
People will ask people will ask you the question.
I'll complain about that until I'm dead.
People will ask you, can you then kind of give us examples of that? Because it's a statement you've made, and without further investigation, people would say, well, it's a blanket statement, and people like to take blanket statements out of context.
Well, I'll just say this here. I don't want to get into a pissing contest with the powers that be or other trainers, but just look around the sport. When black trainers make a mistake, it's always highlighted. It's always a suggestion that they should get another trainer. All human beings make mistakes, you know? And it's always a situation where, you know, when I was a kid, my mother used to say, you know, you have to be twice as good as a white man, you know? And now, when I talk to my grandsons, I say you have to be 5 times as good as a white man because of the world you live in. It's just the way it is, you know? So I even in boxing, you know, in Usyk's case, I worked with Usyk for 3 years, and then suddenly, the last camp that we worked together, I didn't feel comfortable because I knew something was in the air. I just didn't know what was in the air. And to this day, I really don't know was dismissed from that cast. It couldn't have been for my work because he was undefeated right up into the last fight that we did, and everything was fine for those 3 years. And then suddenly there was a very swift change in attitude and persona, and I just don't know what happened. So I just attribute that to the problem with black trainers. It's just a harder hill to climb.
Well,
it's more difficult.
Sergey Kovalev said that he thought American trainers weren't very good. He went and got some other guy, got knocked out, and he's gone back to another American trainer, Buddy McGirt. So what does that tell you?
The same way he said that American trainers wasn't very good, then okay, where was the trainers from his own country? They weren't very good either because nobody knows them. Nobody knows them. Nobody knows them. That was his opinion. If he said that American trainers weren't that good, it's not American, Russian, Chinese. It's the sport itself. It's what the fighters expect as human beings, man. If a person comes into a scenario with an attitude that, well, they're not really good, then they're not going to be very good because they're coming in with a negative attitude. Instead of they coming in with an open mindset, saying that, okay, I'm coming to learn, not trying to be smarter than the trainer. Just come in with an open mind and try to learn. That's the problem.
Okay, Ruben Gura asks the question: does Uncle believe members of Usyk's team may have got into Usyk's ear and made him leave him?
Maybe not. Maybe not. But everybody's got to remember, it wasn't I that sought out Usyk. It was Usyk that sought out me. Usyk was an Olympic gold medalist. He could have had any number of trainers in the world to come in and train him. And most of them would have jumped at the opportunity to train a gold medalist. But out of all of those trainers in the world, he elected on his own to say, hey, can you come to Ukraine, live in Ukraine, and train me? And I did so for 11 fights. Well, for 10 fights. The last fight that I worked with him was in California. So he chose me out of all the trainers that he could have, that he might have chosen. He chose me.
Do you think it was the case that they just wanted you to get him to the world title and then got rid of you?
For some reason, I don't think so. I think that he really depended on my advice. I think that he really depended on it because it was a situation where we were very close in those training sessions. But be it as it may, it may have been other people in the training camp. It could have been a number of reasons. Human beings are strange robots, if you will, or strange animals, if you will. They change with the wind.
Could it have been the management team? Could it have been the management team and the management themselves that had?
Yeah, it might have been. I talked to his manager at the WBC bench, and the manager declares, he said it wasn't me. It was a decision that Usyk made on his own. So who am I to say it was or wasn't? Myself, I don't get into pissing contests about it. I just say, hey, it is what it is. Not better than more. That's my position. Because I always felt about my efforts in boxing, and I always consider myself to be one, if not the best trainer in boxing, because I observe boxing like an octagon. I look from above, from below, and from every angle. How can I do this better? How can I make the fighter better? Because every human being is different. Every boxer is different. Every application is different. So I say, say every time I train a boxer, I've got to look for the best in the boxer, and then I have to stay close to what is the best, and then extract it. And that's not easy. That's not easy. So that's it, all in a nutshell. You never can tell because you're dealing with human beings. But I always felt that no one fighter can define who James Ali Bashir is, because I'm good at what I do. I'm very, very good. And I think that I'm better than most of the guys that's out there. You know? Now, there's people who jump up and say, well, he thinks that he's better. I think that I'm better. If I don't think I'm better, who's going to think it?
That's true.
Who's going to think that they're better?
Ruben asked the question, does Uncle still have any contact with Usyk now?
I come in contact with him I take glass of ring with him and do sparring with him, and that's it. That's the extent of it.
Okay. Somebody asked the question, ask him what kind of power Ingram has. Those hooks look nasty. That's his Marky Bier.
So what?
Marky Bier asked the question, ask Uncle what kind of power Ingram has. Those hooks looked nasty.
You're pretty strong. You're a pretty strong guy. You're a pretty strong guy. I might have made a good box out of you about 10 years ago. You know what?
I do sit down in my bed at night time thinking to myself, if I know what I was 10 or 15 years younger.
But let's just do it. Let's get away from that there. You gotta start thinking that you belong and then go out there and
No. I'm done. I'm done, Uncle. I'm done. No way. I'm not that deluded.
No, you got pretty good power, though. Pretty good power. I don't know how long it'll last in an actual boxing match, but for the time we was in there, it was pretty good power.
Well, I have to be in shape. Have to get in shape. Have to be fit and all that stuff. But no, let's not go there. Let's continue the interview. Anyway, Uncle, what were your thoughts on people asking your questions? Your thoughts on Cus D'Amato?
I think that Cus D'Amato might have been arguably the best of all of the trainers over the last 100 years. I like Cus D'Amato very much because he took 3 ghetto kids that didn't know a left hook from a mailbox, and he turned them into world champions. And 2 of those world champions happen to be the youngest heavyweight champions in the history to this day. The record hasn't been broken. Floyd Patterson and Mike Tyson. Then he had Jose Torres. And he took these guys from scratch. These guys didn't know anything about boxing. He took these guys from scratch and brought them to the championship. And that's phenomenal for me. You have guys like Eddie Futch and Emanuel Steward, but they had these guys a lot of the guys they had already had a boxing background. Cus D'Amato took guys, out of the soup that didn't know how to fight. He taught them how to fight and took them to the championships of the world. So yeah, I have high praise and regard for Cus D'Amato.
I think someone's going to wind up here, but they're asking your thoughts on Teddy Atlas.
Well, if they do, I'll tell them. Just wind me up and I'll tell you.
Wind me up and I'll tell you.
I think that Teddy Atlas is a guy that has been given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I think Freddie Roach is a guy that has been given opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. In other words, a lot of guys that are trainers now, they were given opportunities. And in those opportunities, they made mistakes. And then it was allowed to make another mistake and another mistake and another mistake and another mistake. They're allowed to make mistakes until they said, like a kid on a bicycle. And you put trainer wheels on the bicycle, and then you take the trainer wheels off, and the kid falls down. You put the trainer wheel back on, let the kid try again. Then you take the trainer wheel off, and the kid falls again. You pick them up. They give them chances to be good. Teddy Atlas was on ESPN for years, many years, and on ESPN, opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, the chance to make mistakes, the chance to get it right. Whereas black air personalities don't get those kind of opportunities. You make one mistake and you're gone. It's called white privilege. Right? In America, they call it white privilege. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And some people accept it as being the norm, but I'll never accept it as being the norm. I think that you should base credits and credibility on the assets that a human being possesses, regardless of the color. The assets. So here's a guy. You look at Freddie Roach with the Pacquiao situation. He forced Pacquiao to get knocked out by Marquez because they were going to stop that fight. They were going to stop that fight. But Freddie Roach was so hungry to get a KO, he kept saying, "Go after him, put pressure on him, go ahead, jump in." And he jumped in and he got hit with a right hand and got knocked out. And nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. I remember years ago, Lou Duva and I think the guy's name was Les Bonanno. There was a fight between James Quick Tillis and Pinklon Thomas. And there was some kind of punch thrown after the bell, and the trainers got involved in the ring. You know, the trainers started throwing punches and this and that. But it was two white men throwing punches in that ring. And everybody just squashed it, blah, blah, blah. Just, hey, stop it out, go in the corner. Just go away, just keep quiet, this, that. Nothing ever came of it. If there had been a Latino or black people in that ring fighting like that, they would have been paid a price. It's called white privilege. All right? I don't think that much of these guys, Atlas or Freddie Roach. I think they're just normal trainers, but they were given opportunities because of the color of their skin. I'll say it then and I'll say it now. They've given more opportunities. I don't see what is any better than any other trainers out there.
So then what made Emanuel Steward stand out then? Why is he adored by so many people? What is it about Emanuel Steward? Is it a myth? Is it a legacy? What is it?
Emanuel Steward was a hands-on guy originally at the Crawford gym. He was a hands-on guy. But the smartest thing to me that Emanuel did was that he surrounded himself with good, solid boxing people who knew boxing. Walter Smith, Floyd Logan, Bill Miller, all of those guys at the Crawford gym that never got a lot of ink, but they were wise sages of the sport. They knew how to train boxers. They had knowledge up the kazoo. And Emanuel surrounded himself with good trainers all the way up to the time of his death. Me included. He always surrounded himself with good, solid trainers that knew boxing. But when the cameras came on and the lights came around, Emanuel took over. That's why the whole story was about Emanuel and never about nobody else. And most people won't say what I'm saying. But Tommy Hearns, single-handedly, in my mind, from my experience at the Crawford gym and the years I spent there in Detroit, Tommy Hearns, even though there were a lot of good fighters that came out of the club, Thomas Hitman Hearns is responsible for the credibility that makes Kronk a standout reputation in the world of boxing. It was Thomas Hitman Hearns. Without Hearns, it wouldn't have had that kind of success.
That's fair enough. So how does your relationship with the Ukrainian fighters or any white fighters work because of those views and those views that you hold?
It doesn't affect my relationship with them. It doesn't affect it because I'm just telling them my opinion. I'm giving my opinion. I'm sure that there are people out there in the listening audience that will debate what I'm saying, but you won't find black trainers debate what I'm saying. You won't find none of them debate what I'm saying. You take, for instance, the people who have raised and taught Terrence Crawford. How much ink do they get? None. The people who has worked with Earl Spence, how much ink do they get? None. They made him trainer of the year, but outside of this, sit down with. But if it had been somebody of the white persuasion, their name would have been up in lights. Their name would have been up in lights.
Virgil Hunter.
Virgil Hunter rode into boxing on the back of Andre Ward. They was together since they was children. Andre rose to the extreme heights of boxing, and that put Virgil on the map. And now Virgil is getting some respect, he's getting some light.
It seems that every one of the fighters you've mentioned have had a trademark fighter or a iconic fighter. You talk about Steward, you've got Thomas Hearns. You talk about Errol Spence, Derek James. You talk about Austin Crawford, they're his trainer as well. So they've all got some sort of identification. One fighter, Roach, Manny Stewart, Pacquiao. So there seems to be Lomachenko. He's got his father.
When Pacquiao came to Roach, he was already a champion 2 times.
Okay. Then there's.
I'm talking about guys that bring the guys up
from scratch
amateurs into the pros and then raise them up to be world champions in the pros. There's a difference. There's a distinct difference. A lot of times these guys come in when the fight is already made. They push aside the original trainer. They'll say, okay, he's a pro now. Come on with it. And then they take the fighter and they get all the credibility for what the fighter does. But in reality, those amateur coaches need to be given some respect. They don't respect the amateur coaches. The amateur coaches are the guys that's teaching these guys how to throw the right cross, the left hook, how to bend, how to bob, weave, and all. They go through all of that stuff, and then when they get to the pros, they push them aside. George Washington, may God rest his soul, raised Mark Breland. Raised him. I think Mark Breland went 100 and something. 125, 120, and only lost one fight. At that time, he was considered the best amateur ever. Wow. But when he came to the professional ranks, George Washington, the bucket boy. And they put a guy in, Joey Fariello. They made Joey Fariello the trainer, but they made George Washington the bucket boy. And I didn't like that. I didn't like it. Because George Washington had taught Mark Breland everything he owned. Everything that he knew, he learned from George Washington. But yet, still, when he came to the pros, they put Joey Fariello in there as a trainer. And, somebody else might have came before Joey Fariello, but I think Joey Fariello was the trainer, and they made George Washington the bucket boy. And I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. But such is the plight of the black trainer. I know black trainers that have come and gone, and the world will never know about the wisdom that they had, that they possess, because it's always more difficult. It's more difficult. I've been doing this for 50 years. And I know I've been a lot of places. I've seen a lot of things. I heard a lot of things. And it's disturbing, to say the least. It's disturbing.
Okay, on the subject of disturbing, I want to talk about our friend Jarrell Miller for a minute. I spoke about this yesterday. on the show. And on the show yesterday, I said, look, I brought up the fact that he mentioned some comments about Anthony Joshua and saying Anthony Joshua was on this and he was on that substance. And I said, when Jarrell Miller opened his mouth, he's messing around with an investment, a very big investment. Now, the fact that he's been popped not once, twice, but 3 times, I mean, either he's absolutely stupid or something's up with that. Why would you pop yourself with so many stuff and then be fighting the biggest fight of your career to make as much money as you could and then also be fighting in your backyard? That don't make no sense. So what do you think about it?
Jarrell Miller is a young guy, and he's making young man mistakes. He just came out today or yesterday and said that, you know, he's owning up to the fact that he did something wrong. He made a bad call. And I was pissed off with him, you know. I know Jarrell pretty good. And I was pissed off with him for, you know, blowing this opportunity he had.
But, Uncle.
You know, I was really pissed off with him. But when he came out on the internet and said, hey, look, hey, I screwed up. You know, I made a wrong call. And I want to own up to it. And began to put this behind me. Whatever the price that I got to pay, then I got to pay. It's my fault.
Okay.
And when he did that, wait a minute, when he did that, my heart and my thinking changed about him. I said, well, that's the first step in the right direction. He's owning up to it. He said, I've screwed up. And then I thought about myself as a young man, the age where he's at now. And man, let me tell you something. I screwed up so many times, man. So many times. And some of the times I didn't even confess to screwing up. You know? So it took a lot from him to do that. Because I know Jarrell, he's a proud guy. It took a lot for him to come on the internet and say that I made a mistake, I screwed up. But I love him for that, deal, because I look at everybody. I look at everybody during that time. When you're a young man, you just do dumb shit. You make mistakes. And he said, I made a mistake. I made a bad call. And I'm sorry for it. I want to move on.
Okay.
Come on with the punishment and let's get going.
Okay. That, when you, I've taken it from, just hear me out on this one. When you upset the powers that be, and you royally piss them off, and you interfere with their investment, which is Anthony Joshua, which is a huge investment, and you start talking stuff that potentially could expose their fighter, there's a way they've got to punish you. And to punish you would be to ensure that, first, you don't get the fight, because all the tests come back saying that you basically are on stuff. And then on top of that, they say, you got to make an apology. You got to apologize. You got to literally grovel. You got to apologize and go through this whole situation of embarrassment because you open your mouth too wide. I'm not saying this is the case, but I've seen situations where people have opened their mouth a bit too wide, upset the powers that be. The powers that be have exerted a bit of power on them, and then have had to go back and grovel.
It could be, and it don't have to be. What I do know is that Jarrell Miller came out today or either yesterday evening and said, look, I screwed up. I made a bad call. And, come on with the punishment and let me get this behind me. And I like that. I just looked at him. When he said that day, I looked at him, and then I looked back on my own life as a young man. And I am very, very, very fortunate to be here talking to you now, because I made some mistakes in my life that could have cost me my life. You know, when you're down in New York and New Jersey, and Philadelphia and places like that there, Detroit and, all these places, Chicago, you can't make those kind of mistakes because it can cost you your life.
Of course.
So I look back on the mistakes that I made. I looked at Jarrell Miller when he was saying that day. I said, I can't look down on Jarrell Miller because I said I did some dumb shit too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I just was able to be blessed to get by, but it could have cost me.
Oh yeah, I'm not for 1 second saying he didn't do this. Not for 1 second, but I also know that this sport of boxing, been around long enough now to know there's some dirty stuff that's going on as well. There's this corrupt as hell. And you would know, 50 years in the sport, it's corrupt as well.
Jarrell Miller is a good kid, you know, he's a good, fun-loving kid, you know. But he's also a loose cannon. You know, even though I always told him that he's a loose cannon.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a good guy, you know, overall, he's a good guy.
He's not a guy that would go by the script, right?
He's a loose cannon. That's what I'm telling you.
That's what I'm saying as well.
He's a loose cannon.
Yeah, that.
And it could be. It could be that he don't. Jarrell dances to his own music.
Exactly. No,
He's
doesn't.
He's nobody gopher. He's nobody gopher, and he's a thinker, you know. But he's gonna have to change his ways. You know, we all do at some point in time. He can't keep going like that. He can't keep going through his career like that. He can't keep going through his life like that. He's a young man, and he's an intelligent guy. He's super intelligent.
He is.
You know? But he's got to change, you know. And this is his chance. This is an opportunity. This is his opportunity for change right here, right now.
Do you believe his career is over, Uncle?
Huh?
Do you believe his career is over?
No, I don't think so. Nope, I don't think so. It could have been if they had a lifetime ban. It could have been, you know, his career could have been over. But, you know, have a lifetime ban in place, and so he's fortunate. But I can see that it's going to come because you're talking about assault and maybe even attempted murder when you're taking these drugs.
Yes, of course.
So they're gonna have to put their feet down. When I say they, I mean the commission. They're gonna have to put their feet down and say, look, enough is enough. Lifetime ban. First time you do it, you're out of here. All that slap on the wrist stuff, just a year or two. That's just a slap on the wrist.
Let me throw something sideways at you. When Vladimir Klitschko fought Tyson Fury, and the mattress was exposed to being more spongy than it should have been, is that manipulating the rules? And if so,
no, it's not manipulating the rules. It's the champion said it was the champion's right. The champion decided which ring, how the ring should be, thick or thin.
Okay.
It was just an attempt. Even though Tyson people caught it, it was just an attempt. Vladimir said, "Okay, I feel comfortable fighting in the slow ring, so let's make the ring a little thin." Fury's people stepped in and said, "Hey man, this ring is too thick. Let's get rid of blah blah blah," and they got rid of it.
Okay.
End of story.
Well, it's not end of story.
It wasn't nothing illegal though.
It's not end of story because if we go back, Orlando Solis, very good boxer, his career ended with his knee. Was it knee? His knee went out after the fight with Vitali. Was it on a similar canvas? Or Pulev, who couldn't get his footing in the first round, or during that fight, Klitschko won spectacularly. But I wonder why Pulev couldn't move around that night. You laughing? But I have to ask some questions there. Well, because I've got to ask.
Yeah, Pulev couldn't get his foot out of the canvas. He got clipped with one of them freight trains.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I appreciate that, but I ain't seen Pulev move so stiff until that fight against Klitschko.
No, I think that he just came to fight. He came to fight, and he came into that Klitschko power. That's what it was. If he had boxed more, he would have made it harder for Vladimir that night. But because of Kubrat Pulev's heart, he was right there to get hit, and that's what happened.
But if you've been training on a spongy mat for your career or for the fight, and Kubrat Pulev has been training on a flat surface or a normal ring, of course, when you get in the ring, that takes a spring out your legs. So you would be flat-footed.
Well, that's just one of the tricks of the trade.
Well, hold on.
People around, yeah, I mean, it's one of the tricks of the trade. One of the legal tricks of the trade.
Legal? Oh, well.
I've seen worse. In this sport, I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse than that.
All right. Well, Ruben makes a very interesting point here. He says, Fury failed a test for nandrolone and cocaine after Vlad fight, but he vacated and retired and was allowed to take a retrospective 2-year ban. I very much doubt Miller gets the same treatment and they'll make an example of him. What do you think of that, Uncle?
I really don't know. New York State is a very strict commission.
They are.
You know, so I don't know what their stance is going to be on that situation. But it's a very strict commission. So they can come at him a few ways. You know, they could give him a 2-year ban. You know, I would suggest, because the world is watching New York right now, they're going to have to stand up to Jarrell Miller. They're going to have to come and step in and do something to let these people know that you can't use drugs. Hello?
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking about Canelo as well and his beef.
I thought somebody had grabbed you.
No, because I'm thinking about Canelo and that beef, and then 6 months later, he's fighting Golovkin.
Yeah, that's not right either, you know. That's why I said that they're going to have to put their foot down when it comes to the use of steroids. They're going to have to do it. Because the only way to clean up the sport, everybody's doing it because there's no safeguard. You know, 2 years out, 8 months out, no big thing for a boxer. I can do that. In fact, I need a break. But when you say life, that's a different dance.
It's a very ingenious way to get yourself out of a contract you're not happy with.
But most of the contract now, when you stop working, the contract stops. You know, the contracts that they're making now says that you're not working. If you're able to work and then you don't take the fight, that contract don't just keep ticking. If a manager says, look, I got a fight for you here, and there's no valid reason for you not taking that fight, then that contract is going to stop. It's not going to keep on ticking by until you sit around and let it go away. No, it doesn't work like that. Because people have so much invested in the boxers, you know? So much invested. You know? I you know, like myself, I was there with Usyk, and I'm here with Vlad Sarenko, and I'm here with the other young man down in Odessa, Ukraine, Vladimir Kasuk. He's down there in Odessa, Ukraine. I'm investing a lot because I'm coming in. Nobody's giving me no bonus, so I'm coming in at ground level. Faith, you know, at ground level, and I'm teaching them blow by blow. And oftentimes it takes me 2-3 months away from the States. I'm always in another country. I'm here in Germany now. Before I was in Germany, I was in Ukraine. And then before, when I came to Ukraine, I came from Poland. Then I was up in Moscow. And then from Moscow, I was down to South Africa. Then I was up in Croatia. So oftentimes, I'm coming in, rolling my sleeves up based on faith. Nobody's coming in and saying, hey, look, I'm going to give you $30,000 as a retainer. You understand? And then when I come to the people and say, okay, give me a contract. You know, you got 15, 20 fights now. Give me a contract. Well, we can't do that. You know, you can't faith, but I showed you faith. I came in when you had nothing. I came in when you had absolutely nothing. Roll up my sleeves, taught you how to work this game, and now you're at this level and you tell me you can't give me a contract? But that's the nature of the beast, you know? And it's not right. It's not right. My belief is when you value somebody in your life, you know, and this goes beyond boxing, the school that I come from. You know, the school that I come from were the streets of Newark, New Jersey. When you have a friend, and you're in the trenches with that friend, you look out for him. Look out for him, you know, right down to your lives, because that's how it often turns out to be, your lives. You don't betray people. That, for me, is an act of betrayal. If a guy like me can come in to another country, learn the language, eat the food, and work in the atmosphere, all the nuts and bolts. I don't know how many times I got hurt when I was working with Usyk. But Usyk always took me to a doctor, his doctor. He always got me fixed up. I got hurt a couple of times. You know, he always looked out for me. But when you have people that you work for, you labor for, you put everything on the line for them, the way I'm doing with Bashir. I mean, if you don't have any ill intent, then what's the problem? Give me a contract. It's called job security. That's what it's called. It's called job security. If you change your mind in the middle of the contract, say, okay, I'll pay you off for the time that you have the contract. That's business. That's the way business is supposed to be.
Yeah, but surely there must be something by law for the work that you've put in. You should get back money for that by law. There must be some sort of law in that.
Boxing is a bastard sport. It's a bastard sport. And nobody gives a damn about boxing. Nobody gives a damn about boxing or the ship that it rolled in on. You go to NHL. Hello?
I'm listening.
Yeah. And, you go to your picture came up, so I thought somebody grabbed you again.
Okay.
You go to the NHL, the NFL, you know, the NBA. All of these people have contracts, you know. It's a respect thing. They want you out there, they buy you out, they buy the contract out, you know. You know, even with Bashir and Vlad Katsu, they got to put contracts in place. What happens if one of these guys cross the street and get hit by a car? What if one of these guys fall down the stairs, a faulty stairs or something? God forbid. And their careers are over. Who pays for the time that I invested? So the lawsuit that they get covers them, but who covers my time that I invested?
I think
so that's why contracts are important.
I think there needs to be a trainers union then, Uncle.
Oh man, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I've been thinking that for years, but good luck with that. I've seen others that tried before you and it never got off the ground, never got out of park. You ever try to move your car to the parking place while it was still in park, or did you have to put it in drive?
Put it in drive.
Good luck with that. You know, it's serious. You know, it's serious. If you try to start a union that says at the end of your career you can get X amount of benefits, you know, it's been people tried before, but people are so cruel and mean-spirited, you know, not just the boxers, but the other people. There's always some opportunists that want to get in there and steal money and lie and cheat, wheel and deal and hurt the boxer. The boxer already been hurt enough in their career, and then the people that they're going to be trusting in, and they stealing from. So it's hard to to get these unions started. It's hard to get unions started. Guys like me, they don't want around. No, guys like me, they don't want around because I tell it like it is. I tell the truth. You know, I call out those fake people where I see them. So they don't want guys like me around.
Okay.
Because I always stand up to the establishment.
Okay.
You know, I got that from the people that raised me, my mom and my aunts and my uncles. You know, they were civil rights people, and it's in my blood. If I see something wrong, I'm gonna point it out. So these people that come in and try to start these unions, they don't get off the ground because they come in with the corrupt attitude that I'm coming in to steal, like a lot of politicians do. Thieving, lying, cheating, scheming, conniving bastards.
Isn't that what the sport of boxing is made up of mainly?
You know, I think that the sport of boxing, I think that life itself is because people sit back and tolerate that. Tolerate it. You know, tolerate it. I saw something on the internet some time ago where some soccer fan in another country, I don't know what country it was, Brazil or somewhere, and one of the fans got over enthusiastic and jumped on the field and started running around the field. You know, and the police was chasing him, and he was dodging and ducking the police, and the crowd was, you know, applauding him like, yeah, you know, and he was running and ducking down. So the police caught him, and when they caught him, they started beating him, punching him and kicking him and knocked him on the ground. And when they did that, other people from the stands jumped on the field and ran at the police and started beating the police. Then the police started running, and the crowd ran them down and caught them and beat the police. That's the kind of effect that people in life all around the world need to do. They need to stand up to the authorities. They need to stand up to the politicians. They need to stand up to the police, corrupt police. They need to stand up. If the people stood up, they would stop all of this shit. They would stop this. But if you sit back passively in your house, peeping through your curtains and let this nonsense continue, it's going to continue. It's always going to continue. So yeah, I would like to see a union come into place where the boxers could be there, and the trainers, you know. I spent a lifetime, and believe me, I sat back and thought about this here before I even entered as a boxing trainer. When I left the workforce, I said, you know what, that's got to be my job. I've got to be successful at this, because this is how I'm making my money. This is how I'm taking care of my life and all the things that's included in my life. This is how I'm taking care of it. You know, I consider that. But man, it's been rough. It hasn't been easy for me. People in the States look at me and say, oh, you this, you that, you've been successful, this, you that. But they don't know about the dues that I paid. They don't know about those nights that I stuck my key in my door, and I couldn't get in because I didn't pay the rent. You don't know about the weddings and funerals and graduations and things that I missed, and the things that I missed from my children, my daughters and sons growing up. They don't know. They got no idea. They just look at, you know, like the glamour side of it, you know. I'm in a pretty good place now, but it wasn't always like this here. You know, they don't know about that. You know, I suffered a lot. You know, for this sport, trying to be a boxing trainer, you know. That's it all in a nutshell.
So, would you be willing to rebuild Big Baby Miller, given the chance?
Sure I would. You know, sure I would.
Would you allow him to come in 300 pounds, though?
Huh?
Would you allow him to come in 300 pounds?
First of all, I don't think I could train Big Baby Miller close. I've always liked him. He's always liked me. And I think that the times that we spent together, we got too close. You know, I'm like, for him, I'm like one of the boys, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think that he'd listen to me.
Right.
And I can only train a boxer that's going to listen to me. I can only train a boxer that's going to embrace what I'm teaching.
Okay.
If the boxer is not going to embrace what I'm teaching, then there's no sense in me being here. I just don't think that he'll listen to me. He might surprise me and say, yes, I will listen, you know? But at this point in his career, he's in a place where he needs to listen to the trainer. He can't, he's an independent thinker. He's really too smart to be a boxer. As one of the old trainers would say to me, he says, this guy's too damn smart to be a boxer.
Yeah, too smart for his own damn good. That's what it is.
Huh?
Too smart for his own damn good.
Exactly. I didn't get to that point yet.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, you know, you got a lot of intelligent. These guys are intelligent. These guys are intelligent and smart. They're smart on college levels. Like you said, too smart for their own damn good.
Yeah, he's clued up. He's clued up. All right.
You gotta be in a place in your life where you say, look, I don't know best. All right? I mean, I got grandchildren, big babies age, you know?
Yeah.
But these guys come in and they're smarter than the trainers. I would love to have trained big baby. In fact, he asked me one time to train him. I just thought about that. He asked me one time to come into New York and train him. And I turned down that offer because I thought it was a waste of my time. He's not going to listen to me. What's the sense of me being here? I don't want to be in a situation where the boxer's not going to listen to me. If the boxer's not going to listen to me, I'll walk away. You know?
Okay.
That's why I asked for contracts.
Right.
It's called job security, man. You gotta have to respect. You gotta respect the people around you, you know? Have to respect it. If you don't respect it, then what's the sense of being?
Fair enough. A fighter that you've been involved with, Vladimir Klitschko. I understand that the search for a new opponent, Klitschko's one of those opponents for June the 1st. What are your thoughts on that?
If I was in the front office, the brain trust for Vladimir Klitschko, even though it's a great opportunity, I would turn it down because it's just enough time to put in place an effective training camp. You figure it's in the middle of the middle of April, and now you got to throw together a training camp, you know, get to the training camp, bring in sparring partners, get everything settled, and then on June the 1st, you got to cook. Now, if they said, well, let's push the date back to maybe June 30th or July the 5th, then I would go for it. This is enough time. But you can't just throw together some makeshift training camp and then run up there with Anthony Joshua talking about taking the heavyweight championship in the world. No. I would tell them no. But if they say we got to July 10th or July 15th, yeah, we go. It's the go.
So there are some people that are saying, 8 weeks to fight Anthony Joshua for 4.5 or 5 million or 5.5 million. I'll take the chance. But is it as realistic as that? There's plenty of time to train.
Yeah. Sure, they take the chance. I'm going to take the chance because I don't have 4.5 million. But Vladimir Klitschko does have 4.5 million and above that. So it's no, I mean, you know, it's no big thing for him because he has that kind of money. So anybody sitting in their armchair in their living room saying, yeah, I'd go be a fighter, of course, because you don't have it. Well, Vladimir Klitschko does have it. He does have it. He owns that kind of money. But if I was his brain trust, I would tell him, no, this is too soon. This is too soon. So, yeah, if they said that we'll push the fight back July the 10th or July the 15th. Then I say, okay, let's put a camp together and get the rocking. We can put together a camp now and start that training at the beginning of May. Give ourselves May, June, and then walk to the fighting beach. Spiritual, mental, and physical. I said in the very beginning, that's the fight. But I go in the ring if he's having marital problems, girlfriend problems. I can't go in the ring if he's got all kinds of things going through his mind. You go in that ring, you got to be mentally, spiritually, physically prepared for some more of hurt. This is the pain business. You know, I've had guys that kinds of problems. Hey, man, you better go trip and fall and get out of this fight. You can't go in the ring and that's on your mind. Well, my wife, we have a problem. Me and my girlfriend have problems. Look, man, don't open that corner with you like that. I had a guy fighting one night, and the guy was fighting, and up in the corner, in between the 5th and 6th round, and I was talking, listen, pull yourself together, what's going on here? He said, I'm going down to the mall to pick her up now. I said, dude, you going what mall? I said, mall, you had a fight. He said that he was going to the mall to pick her up.
What?
In the middle of a fight. In the middle of the fight, the guy told me, go to the mall, pick her up. I said, sir, you're not at all. You're in a ring. You're fighting, man. You're fighting. He had got hit, and he told me he was going to the mall with the girls and that. So I've seen it all. I've seen it all. And that was one of the things. I slapped him lightly on his chin. I said, yo, dude, you hit a fight. This is a fight, man. You talking about the mall, you know? So I said, no. That's what it is.
Okay. What about Usyk? Would you advise Usyk to take the Joshua fight? Because he's already training.
Yeah. I would definitely tell Usyk to take the fight.
Now?
I think that, yeah. You see, Usyk, let's go, is 43. 42, 43 years old. So it's going to take him a little more time to get ready. Usyk is younger, much younger. He's nimble, flexible, he can box, he can take a punch, he can crack himself. I would just roll the dice and say, look, I'll fight him.
People are suggesting because he's only just moved up, it wouldn't be smart for him to fight Joshua straight away. What are your thoughts as a professional trainer?
He's the number one contender to fight him.
Is he?
Usyk is the BO number one contender. He's the number one contender to fight Joshua right now. I think that he stands a very good chance of upsetting Joshua.
Do you think now's the time to fight, or would you rather have him have a few fights before he fought Joshua?
I like for him to have 2 fights before he fights Joshua, but this is a shot in the dark. This is an opportunity to present himself right now. If he goes in there and loses, nobody will blame him. Depending on the money that they give out there, if we give him $10 million out there, I take him down there in a handcuff in one of those shopping baskets at the supermarket. I roll it right in and said, we got $10 million?
Okay. Let me give you another name. Michael Hunter. What do you think?
If Mike been training, if Mike has been training, yeah.
You're breaking up. You're moving away. You're away from your phone. You need to come closer to your phone.
Yeah. Good now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're very good.
Yeah, a host of bees just came in the room. About 9 of them. I had to get them out of here.
Oh boy.
I can't function with the bees flying around my head.
Yeah.
I guess they're trying to start a hive or something. They need to go somewhere else with that. Yeah, Michael Hunter is a good athlete. If he's training, they're going to give him $1.5 million. I want him to take it.
There are people think that AJ walked straight through him. I don't agree. What do you think?
No, he ain't walk. Ain't nobody gonna walk straight through Michael Hunter. Ain't nobody walking straight through Michael Hunter. Let me say that again. There's nobody in boxing that's gonna walk straight through Michael Hunter. You're gonna have to work to do it. He's that good.
But I haven't seen Joshua walk through anybody that's good, very good. He's walked through guys that are not very good, but guys that are quality. He doesn't walk through.
No, Michael Hunter is a gifted athlete. Very gifted, very sharp. Very gifted, very sharp boxer. AJ is a good fighter, but I think that Hunter in shape can give him some work.
I think
Michael Hunter's not a giver. Ain't nobody walking through Michael Hunter.
I know.
Anybody that listen to me that think again, I told you those last fights about Michael. What I told you before those fights happened.
What was going to happen? You told me he was going to beat up on Bucoli, and he did.
I told you. I said those guys are going to have a big problem. I know this kid. I've worked with him. I worked with him on 2 occasions, and I'm telling you, he's a gifted guy. He's a gifted guy. And if he got the call today, tonight, or tomorrow to fight him, he should go in and fight.
How does a Hunter versus Joshua fight go if he takes the call?
It's a toss-up. It's a tough fight, I think Joshua will win the fight. I think he's in a better place to win the fight at this stage of both of their careers. I think that Joshua, the momentum is with Joshua. But I'm saying that with caution signs in my mind, that Michael Hunter, if he's in shape and ready to go, he can cause problems for anybody.
Ruben Guerrero says he'll stop him inside 6 rounds. Joshua. Hunter inside 6 rounds.
If Michael Hunter is in shape, all right? If he's in shape, ain't nobody gonna stop him inside those 6 rounds. Nobody in boxing today is gonna stop him in 6 rounds. If he's in shape and prepared to fight, I'm telling you, I've seen the sparring sessions between Michael Hunter and Vladimir Klitschko. I've seen, I've seen Vlad Sereyko with Michael Hunter. I've seen the guys are boxing artists. He's just like his father. His father was a problem for boxers, and he's a problem for boxers.
So he takes a good shot. He can punch himself. He can move.
Yeah, Michael Hunter can punch. He can box. He's slick. He got good eyes, good reflexes. He got everything that he needs to go to the Super Bowl. And if anybody thinks to him, I'll put your guy in there with him, see if they come out with a loss on their record. I don't want to see it with none of my fighters. I don't want to see it. They get on the boat, go to China somewhere. I don't want to see it.
I keep telling people about Michael Hunter, but they're not listening. After I saw what he did to Buckley, I said, you know what? This guy, I underestimate this guy. When his head's screwed on, Michael Hunter is very dangerous. When his head's screwed on and he's fit.
I think at this stage of Michael Hunter's career, that Michael Hunter is his biggest enemy.
Yes.
His lifestyle, his lifestyle has changed, because he's just a young guy. young guys are crazy guys, They do things that's anti-conditioning, ripping and running the streets and stuff like that there. But if he's in shape and he's prepared to fight, he's no cakewalk for nobody. I'm telling you, this guy can box. This guy can box. He can box. I put him at the top of my boxing list. When he come up there in the top 20 fighters, I put him right there in the number 5 in the world. I put him right there with the number 5 spot.
Billy Nelson, the trainer of Bakole, says that Bakole wasn't in the right frame of mind for the Hunter fight, but he believes the rematch would be different.
I respect him. I respect what he's saying. But he sounds like 100 other trainers. I've had guys that put him in the ring. Guys said, get that guy back for me. I said, we just had him. I want him back. I said, but we just had him. And I'm saying that for the same thing for Martin's trainer, what he's saying right now. We think the rematch would be different. I don't think so. I think that would be harder, but I don't think that the outcome will be different.
Nor do I.
Huh?
Nor do I. I don't think it'll be different.
Yeah, I think that Martin would probably be a better condition, better prepared mentally, but I don't think that the outcome would be different. I think Michael would take him to school again.
So one other name that's been marked around is Luis Ortiz. I don't know why, but Luis Ortiz is the guy that people want to see Joshua face.
I think AJ beat Ortiz. He might stop him. The mistakes that Ortiz made in the Wilder fight, he could make with AJ.
Why?
Because AJ is a sharper puncher than Deontay. Deontay is a flailing puncher. Good power, but he misses a lot. He missed Ortiz in that fight. That's how Ortiz hurt Wilder, because Wilder had missed it, and then he countered him. So if he made those mistakes with AJ would knock him out, because he's punching straighter and sharper.
So you think that Hunter's a better fighter, but better fight than the Ortiz fight?
Yeah. More interesting, yes.
That's what I think. Michael Hunter's actually signed a promotional deal with Matchroom, and it's quite ironic that I went to reach out to Michael Hunter because I felt that would be the fight that Joshua most likely would take. And then I went out to reach to Hunter, and no reply from him.
I'm telling you, Michael Hunter is one of the premier heavyweights in the world today. The guy can box, man. He is the epitome of what boxing is, Michael Hunter. If you want to know something about boxing, he puts the B on the beginning and the G on the ending of the word boxing.
Shit.
This guy can fight. But, I ain't going to say nothing else. I'm just going to let all the doubters, all the detractors, just watch and see. Watch and see. Just watch and see, and you're going to see something. You're going to see something really special.
Ruben Guerrero says, Hunter is unproven at heavyweight.
Well, he's off to a good start. Okay?
He goes, Ruben says, he didn't do much at cruiserweight either. I don't see the hype.
No, he didn't do nothing at cruiserweight. No, he didn't do anything at cruiserweight. But I think that he's going to be a better heavyweight than he was cruiserweight. And he's a little heavyweight. He's a little guy, I think that he can handle a lot of those guys in the top 10. I think he can handle them. I think that he can handle a lot of the guys in the top 10 because of his skills, of his ingenuity, of his ring guile. I'm telling you, man, who does he excel? suggest that could beat Michael Hunter. And I'll tell you where he stands. Ask him that.
Ruben, who do you think that can beat Michael Hunter? He thinks that AJ walks through him in 6 rounds. So that's the answer there for that.
No, he won't. No, he won't. I saw AJ box Joseph Parker.
Mm-hmm.
And from that fight, I looked at that fight. He boxed Joseph Parker. And I thought about Michael Hunter. I said, boy, he better be lucky that he's not in there with Michael Hunter tonight, because Michael Hunter would have had a field day on AJ that night. He would have had a field day, a boxing field day. The man can box, man. All right? The man can box. All right? And if you get in there in the ring with Michael Hunter and you're not prepared for all that slick stuff that he does, he's going to beat you. Boy, he's going to beat you behind really good.
What about Hunter versus Gassiev at heavyweight?
Good fight. Really good fight. Really good fight. But I think that Hunter takes Gassiev to school too.
Hunter Usyk 2, the rematch. Heavyweight.
Really good fight. And I think that Hunter be better prepared for Usyk the second time. You know? I think that he knows what he'd be up against with Usyk. Usyk, actually, they could have stopped that first fight. They could have called a stoppage on that fight. But the referee was generous by letting it go the distance. But I think that Michael Hunter knows what he's up against with Usyk. Because he was doing good the first 4 or 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But his tank ran out, and then the Usyk show started. But I think that Michael Hunter knows what he would be up against a guy like Usyk. And Usyk possesses some things that other fighters, other heavyweights don't possess. And those things I'll keep to myself. I won't reveal what those things are. But he possesses some things that I don't see in any other heavyweights. AJ is a hard worker, though. AJ is a really hard worker. He's always prepared. Mentally, physically, and spiritually, he's always prepared. But I think Hunter would be better prepared for Usyk the second fight. I think it would be a very, very good fight. And I think somebody will get knocked out in that fight.
Okay. Let's talk about another fight that is with us tonight. We're going to talk about it while we're there, because we promised people would talk about it. So let's talk about this fight. Lucas Big Dave Brown against Dave the White Rhino Allen. Your thoughts?
I think Dave Allen should beat Lucas Brown. Lucas Brown need to go somewhere and sit down.
Why?
Dave Allen, I mean, Lucas Brown has had so many opportunities. What has he done?
Well, he's become world champion.
Huh?
He's become world champion.
Yeah. But when? You remember Janet Jackson sang a song?
What have you done for me lately?
What has he done for you lately? Lucas Brown, if Dave Allen beats Lucas Brown, all right? I see Dave getting through that. I think Dave needs to take the fight to him, put the pressure on him, and do what needs to be done to win the fight. I think Dave got enough experience now, enough guile to win that fight.
How many rounds?
I just don't. That can go the distance. That can go the distance. If Lucas don't clip Dave and knock him out.
That's what I'm worried about. Because Dave has got a terrible defense.
Yeah, if Lucas don't clip him, you know, that's the I know it's about the defense. That's why I said if Lucas don't clip him. But I think that Dave has enough experience now, enough focus to get around that and beat Lucas Brown. If he beat Lucas Brown, he puts himself into the hunt.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the fight you're really looking forward to tonight. Let's bring that up for you. If I can find him. Where is our friend? Yes. Emma Khan, Terence Crawford. Talk to us about this fight, Uncle.
I think that Terence Crawford is in a room all by himself right now. Amir Khan is going to really have to hustle to even stay with Terence Crawford throughout 7 rounds. I think that Amir gets stopped inside of 7 rounds.
Really? I think you're being generous.
Yeah,
I think you're generous. I think he gets stopped within 4.
I'm just giving him that time. If he can box and make it into a boxing match, he can last the distance. But I think that Terence Crawford is too youthful. I think that he's too strong mentally. I think that he's going to be very aggressive from the southpaw stance. I think he's going to win that fight. I just don't see what Amir is going to come up with after his setbacks. I just don't think so.
I think he's
He could surprise me. I'd like to see him surprise me, but I just don't think so.
I think he gets stopped inside 4 or 5. He makes too many mistakes. And Samuel Vargas was clipping him with shots. And Vargas dropped him, I think, the second round. I think Crawford gets him out and faster than that because Crawford is accurate with his punches. Khan makes way too many mistakes. Even when he's coming forward and throwing shots, he makes too many mistakes. And all you need to do is make one mistake against Crawford and he's on to you. And he's a great finisher as well.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Khan believes he's bigger and stronger at the weight, and I don't believe that at all. I think that's mistake number 1. I've been at the weight longer than you. One commentator was saying that pundit was saying he's been at the weight longer than him. That don't mean nothing.
Well, I got Crawford to win the fight inside 7 rounds.
I got it inside 5.
And Khan has got those features that cuts. He's got facial features that's susceptible to cuts.
Yeah.
Crawford is that kind of puncher that can cause cuts. But I think that he's in a room all by himself right now. Terence Crawford is. And even with Errol Spence there, I think that Terence Crawford can handle Errol Spence. Errol Spence is strong and he comes forward and stuff, and that might be playing right into Terence's hands.
Yeah, he'll come out trying to throw those fast stands and found that Crawford's not only as fast but faster and will punch in between the punches. They know that. I've spoke to his trainer. They know as soon as he gets hit in the chin, it's all over. They've said it. As soon as he gets hit in the chin, as soon as he gets put in the cooker, once he's put in the oven and they turn the heat up, Khan gets out of there.
I think so too.
I just can't.
Ivana went and bet money on Khan.
Ivana went and put money on Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ivana took a photograph of Khan, so I guess she must be emotionally attached to Khan, isn't it?
She put money on it. She bet on it. She said that Khan's going to win the fight.
How?
It's okay. I guess he got some of his kind of insurance company that's going to help.
Well, for him to win the fight, he's not got to get clipped. He's not going to get hit. He's got to keep off the ropes. He can't fight backing up. He's got
to be in some kind of mess. He's going to be in a tough fight. It's going to be a tough fight. For both guys, it's going to be tough the first 3 rounds.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I think that Amir has got those 3 rounds in him. I think that Amir is coming to fight. He has to. He's got no other recourse. He's got to come to fight.
But if
he's got to make an impression on Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
He's got to make that impression on him
Early.
early.
You've got to clip him early and hurt him. Get his respect.
Yep. In the old days, they say you got to get your pound of flesh.
Yeah. Get him early. Hit him, hurt him early. Let him back him up, beat him up. Let him know that you can hurt him. And tonight, it's not your night, son. It's one of those ones.
You got to put something on. You got to put something on Terrence Crawford
early.
He's a young upstart. He's tough. You know, you got to nail him and let him know. Say, hey, you run up in here. This is what I got for you. He's just a human being. And if you hit that human being hard enough, then the human being's mind, his anatomy goes into wait a minute mode. Wait a minute, we're going to have to rethink our plan because this guy's punching hard.
Mm-hmm. But you know, Khan gets knocked out the same way, left hook or right hand. He gets knocked out the left hook or the right hand.
Yeah, Khan is a brave guy. He's a brave guy. He's just too brave for his anatomy. He's too brave for his anatomy. He runs into stuff, you know.
Do you think he was?
He look like he's riding. He look like he's on skates or something.
Roller skates, yeah.
But I think that Terrence Crawford is too much for him.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on Garcia versus Granados tonight? Garcia versus Granados.
Garcia, late stoppage decision.
Okay. Any thoughts on Josh Kelly?
No. I don't know Josh enough to make any assessment on it. Shakur is fighting the name.
Yes.
What
do you think of him?
Well, you know, all of the pundits say that he's in a tough fight tonight, you know. So we'll have to see. At least he's stepping up. You know, I like the fact that Shakur Stevenson is stepping up. Freddie Roses has this guy, you know, and the guy's only got one loss, and I think that Shakur is going to handle him. I like the fact that Shakur wants to fight. I like the fact that he's stepping up. In his 10th fight, he's stepping up. He's taking on the names that's essential. I think this is a good move for him.
Okay. Ryan Garcia?
He fights tonight?
No. Your thoughts? What do you think of him?
Looking good. Ryan Garcia is looking good. I think that he's good for the sport. I think that he's a good boxer, not great, but good. You know? And I think with 2, maybe 3 more suitable fights, that he could be a good fighter, a really good fighter.
Gervonta Davis.
I like the idea about his mindset. His mindset, I'm ready to fight the guys now. I like Shakur's mindset because he said, I'm ready to fight them now. We ain't got to play around. You know, we don't have to play around, but you can bring them up in now. When you got guys like that there, my philosophy is let them go. Let them go. Another young guy that I think about, which comes to mind, you know, that always, look, I'm ready for him now. Give him to me. You don't pull a guy back when they want to go. You understand? My first trainer always say, look, when a guy want to fight, let him fight. Let him fight. You know? The thing is that those guys, you see, go out there and you let your punches go. A young man that reminded me that it was a young man, Cassius Clay. You understand? He said, let him bring them all. He said, I'll beat them all. And I learned to respect those guys. It's just a certain look in Shakur's eyes, a certain demeanor in his movement that tells me that this kid is there to fight.
Yeah. Fight first, business later.
Fight. Huh?
Fight first, business later. You fight first, your business later. Yeah.
Shakur's tough enough. This guy that he's in there with, you know, is a good fighter. for all we know. I haven't seen him. But his record indicates that he's a good fighter and he's a good puncher. But Shakur says, no. Bring him in here and let me show you what I can do. So
okay.
this is a showcase for him tonight. This is a showcase. And I think that Shakur is going to come through in flying colors.
One more fight I want to talk about tonight or today. Joe Joyce. He's moved from Abel Sanchez. He's now with Adam Booth. He said Sam Jones was on the channel. He said that he felt that Joe Joyce was making too many mistakes, and he thinks that Adam Booth's the guy to tweak and tighten up Joe Joyce. What are your thoughts about the Joe Joyce career so far? Where he's going? Would you recommend him going in and fighting Joshua next?
Recommend Joe Joyce go fight Joshua next?
Yes.
No, he can't beat Joshua. No, you can't beat Joshua. He's about 3-4 fights away from even challenging Joshua.
Vlad Tsarenko was saying,
hello?
Go ahead, I'm listening. I'm here.
Good. You said
Vlad Tsarenko said that if Dubois and Joe Joyce fought, that Joe Joyce would beat Dubois at this time.
I think Joe Joyce might be mentally in a better place over Dubois. You know, Dubois is a young green guy, you know, and he's coming up the ladder in a professional way. You know, you don't want to bite off too much too soon. Mentality makes a big difference in any fight, you know. And I think that Dubois is just a young boy that haven't even gotten in touch with all of his abilities yet. But I think in 2 or 3 fights, he'd be ready for Joe Joyce and anybody else. 2 or 3 comparable fights. He'll be ready for Joe Joyce and anybody else.
Okay. Well, according to Ruben Guerrero, he says that Joyce beats Wilder, he beats Ortiz. What do you think about that?
Who?
Joyce beats Wilder and Ortiz. Now, according to Ruben Guerrero.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. He might stand a good chance in a shootout with Ortiz, but Wilder's a whole different story.
What is it about Joe Joyce that gives you lots of doubts about his ability?
I don't have any doubts about his ability. He's a bit slow. He's a bit predictable. Those big shots are not going to land on those slicker boxers, smarter boxers, guys that got good reflexes. Those big shots are not going to land on him. Joe Joyce is a bit slow and a bit methodical, a bit predictable, and that should be his nemesis, you know. It's got to be quicker. You know, I said Adam is going to tweak him, so we'll see what happens.
What do you think Adam Booth can bring that Abel Sanchez couldn't bring? Or the trainer before that couldn't bring Joyce?
Is David Hay with him? Is he still with him?
No, I don't believe so.
What do I think Adam Booth can do what?
Well, what could Adam Booth bring that Abel Sanchez couldn't bring?
Adam's been around for a while. He's been around, and I guess he got some tricks up his sleeve. I can't say from my perspective what he can bring that Abel Sanchez couldn't bring. But his brain trust must think that Adam is the guy that he can, you know, if he can find out the things about Joe Joyce that needs to be found out to take him to the heavyweight championship. But I can't say yay or nay on Adam's perspective or Abel Sanchez's perspective. You know.
Can you compare Vlad? Can you compare?
Joyce,
Go ahead, Uncle. Go ahead, Uncle.
I think Joe Joyce is a big, strong puncher, and that the powers that be in boxing will have to pay strict attention to him, because if he hits somebody on the chin, he can cause them big problems.
Okay. Well, could you compare Vladimir Klitschko to Joyce? Because Ruben Guerrero is saying same was said of Vlad. Joyce has a good jab and a right hand, and his right hand is getting straighter and faster.
His right hand is straighter and faster for who?
I don't know. He's just saying that how he's comparing Joyce's development to Vlad's
right
development.
Hand is good. It's just, I'm not doubting about that. I've seen him in sparring and stuff. I've watched him. He's a good puncher. It's his feet that I'm worried about. You can throw all the power punches you want, but it's his feet that I'm worried about. He looks like a robot walking around the ring in there. He's got good power. There's no question in my mind about that. He has great power, but it's his footwork. You can have all the power you want, but if your footwork is shoddy, you're going nowhere fast.
Okay. DJ Slick Boxing 365 has this to say. Can you tell Uncle Bashir it's a blessing to have him sharing his knowledge with us after 50 years in the sport? And once again, big up yourself, Ingram. Great show, sir.
Oh, man. Tell him I said thank you very much.
Okay, Uncle Bashir says thank you.
And I try to do the best that I can for the sport and all the athletes in the sport. I try to bring my best every single time. I try not to have a bad night ever, because my first trainer always told me, he said, look, son, he said, when you go up to that ring, he said, wear your best shoes. I said, my best shoes? He said, yes. He said, because the ghosts of the greats are always at ringside watching. And I said, he said, the ghost of the greats, all
yes.
of the greats, all of the great trainers, all of the great boxers, all the ghosts of the past are at ringside and they're watching you work. So big them up, son. He said, when you get up there, big them up. So yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to wear my best shoes every time I go to that ring because I'm a professional and I'm supposed to present myself as a professional. I'm supposed to present myself as a professional every step of the way. I should never go up there and be a buffoon or a clown or be guessing or be fooling around with people's lives. You can't fool around. You have to be professional in your approach. I sit back and I watch and I observe everything. The opponent, I observe my guy or my girl, whichever the case might be. I don't want to leave the women out, but I try to be professional in every aspect of what I'm doing. If I don't like something that a boxer is doing, then I pull them aside and say, listen, you got to stop that. You got to listen. You have to listen. Listening is a big, big thing in boxing. Listening is a big thing in anything, but especially in boxing, because the time that you don't listen is the time that you get your head knocked off. So yeah.
One of the questions that was asked while watching that video with yourself and Serenka was how at your age you're able to stay in such great shape. And they were asking what sort of diet you eat or what sort of food you have, whether you're a meat eater or if you're a vegetarian.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't eat red meat. I don't eat fried foods. I'm in bed at 8:30 at night, and I'm up for my prayers 4:30, 5 o'clock, wherever in the world where that prayer comes in. I try to stay close to the spiritual belt. I did everything as a youngster, and now I'm just trying to make up for it now. So I'm at a stage now where I don't do nothing. I love boxing. I've always loved boxing. I never thought that I'd be a participant as a trainer. I kind of just indirectly got into it, and the bug bit me, and that's been here ever since.
Yeah. One other question I need to ask you about, and it's a question or something that's been going on a lot in the UK. Tunde Ajayi, master, genius, Master Tunde Jai, and Anthony Yarde, the Beast from the East, lions in a camp. Have you managed to see any of this?
I heard him saying something on the internet, I think a few nights ago. I forget just what it was, but I responded by saying, this guy must be drinking some kind of different kind of alcohol or something. You know, he's a young guy. He's trying to be impressionable. He's got a charge that he's got to go into Russia to beat this guy. You know, Anthony Yarde is a good fighter, but I don't think that he's mentally ready for that fight. But I could be wrong because I don't know him like Tunde knows him, you know. But mentally, I don't think that he's ready for that fight.
It says that Andre Ward isn't technically as good as Anthony Yarde.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was funny to me. That was funny to me because he's comparing Anthony Yarde to a proven champion at 2 weight classes. You know, I don't see what he's talking about. But I mean, that's his opinion. You know, that's his opinion.
But you don't see it though.
No, hell no. You serious? No.
You sound like Grenada there. You serious?
No. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I mean, it was funny to me that he said that, but no, heck no. How you gonna compare Anthony Yarde to Andre Ward? And Anthony hasn't really been in there with nobody. He hasn't been under the magnifying glass. He hasn't been under that kind of pressure. He's going to be under that kind of pressure when he gets to Russia.
He also says that he's Anthony Yarde. He's the best sparring partner that Anthony Yarde's got, and if he can't hit him, then nobody else in the world can hit him.
Who's the best sparring partner?
Tunde. Yeah, the trainer.
Listen, you know, I mean, that's his position. He's a young. Hey, how old is that guy?
He's older than he looks. I think Tunde must be probably late 40s, early 50s, maybe more than that.
Yeah. Well, you know, he sounds like a young guy. You know, he sounds like a young guy that you know, this is his first rodeo, so to speak. This is his first rodeo. He'll find out. He'll cool down. He'll calm down as life goes on. You know, saying that if he can't hit him, that nobody can. Don't believe that. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. I mean, Anthony Yarde, I like the guy. I like his progress. You know, but I think he moved into this spot. It's sort of like who was this welterweight? Who was the welterweight? Mexican kid.
Vargas.
He was right there with Vargas. Too much, too soon. They moved Vargas in. Vargas won the IBF title, and then he was in with the Lions. No turn back because I'm a champion now. And didn't fare well with none of them. De La Hoya, you know, Trinidad, Winky Wright. They burned him out. They burned him out. He's just gone. He was a young guy when he got out of boxing. You know, he just didn't have anything left because he was in the front line before it was time. And Yarde could become the same thing. Yarde has got to go into Russia to beat Kovalev. I'm not saying that Yarde can't beat him, but it's not going to be easy for him to beat him. Not in Russia.
He said that
it's not going to beat him. It's not going to be able to beat. It wouldn't be easy for him to beat him in Britain, but it's definitely going to be harder for him to beat him in Russia.
Why?
Because of the pressure, the atmosphere, all of this stuff. I mean, where's Yarde's fights? All of his fights been where?
Most of them in the UK. He's had a couple of fights on an undercard in America with like 2 people watching. Well, more than 2 people watching, but there wasn't many people watching.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have difficulty. I think he's gonna have some difficulty.
What do you believe? What about a fighter not having sparring partners?
He doesn't have. Yarde doesn't have sparring partners.
Well, according to him, he says, he doesn't have sparring partners. He's also Tunde not believing in having sparring partners for Yarde.
Tunde doesn't even have sparring partners for Yarde.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in having sparring partners for Yarde.
You said it.
Correctly. That's what he said.
You said it. Well,
let me just understand clearly what you're saying. He doesn't believe in having sparring partners.
Allegedly, yeah, he doesn't believe in sparring partners that himself and the guys in his camp are enough sparring. That's all he needs. Don't need anybody else. But he's the best. But Tunde is the best sparring partner out of all of them.
Okay. So for centuries, I mean, I was there when Muhammad Ali was sparring, Larry Holmes, Tony Tubbs, Tony Tucker, you name it. All those guys came through that sparring camp, and all of them wound up being world champions. Eddie Mustafa, Matthew Saad Muhammad, all of those guys became world champions because they were in there sparring with Muhammad Ali. I've been in dozens of training camps, and Vladimir Klitschko is one of few athletes, few boxers of all time. One of the few boxers of all times that solicited the best sparring partners that money could buy. You know, he said, go out and get the Michael Hunter, get me Jamil McCline, get me Shannon Britt, give me the best sparring partners, bring them in. You know, bring them in. You know, I want these guys here. And Vladimir would bring these guys in, and he would do 2 rounds with this guy, 3 rounds with that guy, 4 rounds with that guy, 5 rounds. That guy come back in 3 rounds. This guy, you know. So when Tunde said that, you know, his best sparring partner is me. That's the best for me. You know, I don't agree with that. I mean, he may have logic. I'm not gonna say he's wrong, but from my perspective, I wouldn't do that. No, I want to create an environment where my boxer is always tense, always ready to box, always ready to put somebody down, because that's what sparring partners are for. This guy, you know who that was, right?
Vlad Tsarenko?
Yeah. Yeah.
Vlad!
He just fell out of a tree.
Fell out of a tree.
I'm doing an interview, man. Can't you see I'm doing an interview?
Vlad, what are you doing, man?
Huh? Must go where? Huh? Okay, all right. Give me 5 minutes, man. I'm doing an interview with Ingram here. Give me 10 minutes, all right? 10 minutes. 10 minutes, okay. Don't come up in the tree no more. I mean, this is a neighborhood, man. I knew something. I knew I heard something. I knew it.
Where is Vlad? What's he doing now? What's he doing?
He climbing in the window and stuff and threw eggs in the. Hey, man, look. I knew something came in the window. Hey, man, don't get this shit down here, man. I knew I saw something come in the window. I saw it. Okay, all right, go away.
It must be a Ukrainian thing with his sense of humor, because I'm sure Usyk was crazy like that. I think you got another crazy one with Tsarenko.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Usyk too. These guys.
It must be a Ukrainian thing.
Ukrainian guys are fun-loving guys. They're good guys. I had a lot of fun with Usyk, you know. I think that's one of the things I miss the most. I had so much fun with him, you know.
Yes, crazy guy. Uncle,
this guy, Tunde, I think he's making a mistake. Now, he said they don't need sparring partners, that the people in the camp spars with him and stuff. Okay.
He says
That's gonna do him good.
He said it
When he
say,
gets to rush him, huh?
he said it saves miles on the clock and it prolongs the fighter's career.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
All right, and we're going to move. Final question.
I've been doing this for 50 years.
Yeah.
And I would not suggest that any fighter go to a fight and not have sparring partners. Ivana's last camp, I had 2 girls sparring with her and 1 man.
Yeah.
You know, I had to hold the guy back sometimes because Ivana would tee off on the guy, and the guy would try to tee off on her emotionally. Not on purpose. The guy wouldn't do it on purpose, but Ivana was hitting him, so I guess the guy just was in that zone, and he started, firing back, and I said, easy, just take it easy. But I wouldn't suggest that anybody go to a fight and not be prepared. And I think that sparring essentially keeps a fighter sharp, it keeps them focused, and it keeps them understanding that nothing is for granted in a boxing ring.
He goes, Tunde believes he hits as hard as Kovalev, so sparring partners aren't needed.
He says he hits as hard as Kovalev, so sparring partners are not needed. I disagree, but
we'll have to wait and see.
He knows what's best for his fighter. He knows what's best for his fighter.
Something more crazy I've heard is that Clarissa Shields talking about bring on GGG.
Yeah, that's because Clarissa Shields hasn't tasted her own blood. When I say tasted her own blood, I mean really tasted your own blood. That's why she's talking like that. She's feeling her Cheerios. I think that's foolishness. Nobody's going to box a woman because one of those guys are subjected to hurt us. So they're never going to improve on.
Well, remember, Riker went down that road, if you remember.
Yeah, still can fight, though. She was in there with some tough girl. Clarissa can fight, too. But I think that she's feeling the Cheerios. I think that the challenges are not up to par yet, for her to be saying like that. But I don't even want to talk about that. That's foolishness. That's foolishness. She's not going to box a man. No man in their right going to box.
And finally, the comeback trail. Marcus Maidana and Kelly Pavlik are on the comeback trail. Your thoughts?
Maidana, yeah. Pavlik, no.
Why?
The light heavyweight?
Yeah, Pavlik, the super middleweight light heavy.
Pavlik is going to be a light heavy?
I think he might come back as a cruiserweight, I understand.
As a cruiserweight?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're going to say he's got to be a big guy because he's a tall guy anyway. I can see Maidana coming back, but I can't see Pavlik's. I can't see Pavlik getting in the ring.
He's on the comeback.
Maidana,
he's on the comeback trail. He's in shape. He's getting himself in shape.
But he's coming back as a cruiserweight.
I understand that. I tell you, I think he was talking about cruiserweight.
Yeah, well, there's some big trains at that cruiserweight. The cruiserweights get punched.
Yeah, exactly.
I think pound for pound, they're the best punchers in the world.
Quite possibly. And Maidana's come back. Where does he fit?
Maidana could go right to the top. He's that kind of guy. Maidana could go right to the top. He's that kind of.
Yeah.
Very, very capable. I like to train Maidana.
I like Maidana.
He's my kind of guy.
He's fun.
Huh?
He's fun. I look forward to seeing him come back.
Yeah, he can fight.
Okay.
He will fight. I like him. I like his attitude.
Okay, Uncle. I'm gonna let you.
I like his attitude.
I'm going to let you go with Serenko before Serenko starts throwing eggs at you.
Yeah, call you back so I come back here. I'm going to eat dinner, you know.
All right. We got fights tonight, remember? The boxing's on tonight, so be aware.
I'm going to call you back before the fights come on.
All right. Uncle, thank you so much as always.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And thank all the guys out there in the listening audience. You know, thank you so very much for listening. And I hope to speak with you guys again.
Take care, Uncle. Take care, Vlad. See you soon.
Yeah, Vlad's out of here. I threw him out. Get out of here.
Take care, Uncle. So there we have it. Uncle Bashir, once again, spreading the gospel, talking about the world of boxing. And he's sharing his thoughts about the boxing world. Join us again tonight. BWTM Online will be doing some live commentary of the fights tonight. Thanks again. Don't forget to watch the special feature on Bashir and Serenko making sweet science, as a little mini feature of Serenko and Bashir working. Get to see Bashir working with shadow boxing and mitt work, and then the interview between the two guys. Very interesting stuff to watch. Of course, Sam Jones talking about Joyce. Check that interview out as well. And extended interview with Vlad Serenko. That's it from us at BWTM Online. We'll see you later on tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to share the video as always. We appreciate you. Take care.